Topic 13. Globalization and the International Order. The purpose of workshop, to understand the concepts of globalization and international order, to identify the types of international order in the history of human society, identify the characteristic features of post-war international order, set the features of the modern international order, as well as the possibilities and ways of building a qualitatively new world order. The main provisions of the 1. Globalization is a process that makes the borders of national states more and more transparent in various areas, economy, social interaction, etc. 2. Today, other concepts are often used to describe the processes associated with globalization, the post-industrial era, the age of the information revolution, techno-globalism, etc. 3. Among the signs of globalization are such as the creation of a global village, a world government, westernization, a melting pot, a salad, a mega-community, cross-border interaction, cross-border processes. 4. In the system of international relations, the process of globalization also has a decisive influence on its change. 5. The understanding of globalization differs depending on the theoretical positions of the authors. 6. The definition of international order should be based on the characteristics of public order. 7. The concept of international order refers to a global social community formed by a set of various social actors acting on the world stage. 8. The international order is a structure of international, primarily interstate, relations that is designed to meet the basic needs of states and other institutions, to create and maintain conditions for their existence, security and development. 9. The essence of international relations is understood differently by representatives of different theoretical schools and political trends, so the difficulties in understanding the problem of the international order are doubled. 10. The world order is unthinkable without the creation of effective procedures for interstate cooperation that provide a special international order that meets the common basic goals and values of their citizens. 11. The international order is an important component of the world order, its core, but the content of the world order is not reduced to it. 12. Hoffman makes the starting point of his analysis of the problem of the international order its main dimensions. 13. In the science of international relations, there is agreement that the modern international order and the modern system of interstate relations date back to 1648. When the Westphalian peace treaties ended the 30 Years' War in Western Europe and authorized the dissolution of the Holy Roman Empire in 355. In the future, the concept of political equilibrium has acquired a broader meaning and has come to mean a. Any distribution of power, b. the policy of a state or group of states aimed at ensuring that the excessive ambitions of another state are curbed by the concerted opposition of those who risk becoming victims of these ambitions, c. a multipolar aggregate, in which the great powers from time to time unite in order to moderate the excessive ambitions of one of them. 15. To the three dimensions of the international order of Doberwund Fort, ideological dimension. Its appearance did not contribute to the stabilization of international relations as evidenced by the Second World War. 16. The types of international order observed in history fluctuate within two classical models, a state of war and an insecure peace, or disturbed order. 17. As for the precarious world model, it is a reaction to the emergence of nation-states with their principle of sovereignty, as well as to the loss of the absolute authority of the Christian Church and the Pope. 18. Each of the above models reflected a part of the reality of its time. To a certain extent, this remains true for the models of our day, although recent decades have brought significant changes to the international order. 19. After the Second World War, an international order emerged with two significant features. 20. The idea of a new international order takes a variety of conceptual forms, in the diversity of which two main approaches can be distinguished: political science, with an emphasis on legal aspects, and sociological. 21. Proponents of the political science approach proceed from the objective need to improve the manageability of the world and from the use of existing integration processes for this purpose. 22. The halfway house model can also be considered, according to which the creation of a new effective international order requires not a global government, for which peoples and states are not ready to exist, but a polycentric government from a group of states, the United States, the European Union, Japan, as well as Russia and China, subject to political changes in this country, which would form a kind of World General Committee. 23. The views of proponents of the sociological approach to the problem of world order are no less different. 24. The sociological approach seems more plausible. It contains more opportunities
25.
to prevent the ideologization of the sociological approach integrating political analysis, enables a broad and holistic view of the problem of international order that allows to represent the foundations in the form of a system of factors, an important place in which belongs to factors of sociocultural nature.
26.
At the same time, the role of the first element, which is expressed in the military power relations of states on the world stage and the international hierarchy built on them, is now significantly changing, partly decreasing, although not disappearing.
27.
Noticeable changes are happening to the second element of the international order associated with the interests of actors.
28.
As for the third element of the international order, the relationship of consent, its essence is as follows.
29.
Legitimacy is a cultural fact.
30. The West stands before the rest of humanity as a reference group.
And this is expressed primarily in terms of advanced technologies, a more efficient economy, and a high level and quality of life for people.
31.
Finally, with regard to the fourth element of the international order, the mechanisms that ensure its functioning, making it possible to resolve the tensions and crises that arise within it, the increasing role of international exchanges and communications should be noted.
32.
The end of the Cold War gave rise to rosy hopes that after the end of bipolar confrontation and the defeat of communist ideology, international relations will lose one of the main features conflict, and finally reach a state of harmony and cooperation.
33. In 1993, Professor S. Huntington of Harvard University came up with the opposite idea, the idea of a clash of civilizations. 34.
The civilizational shock manifests itself on two levels, the lower, between groups of adjacent cultures that touch each other along the lines of civilizational faults, and the upper, between states belonging to different civilizations.
35.
Thus, Huntington's
36.
concept looks completely opposite to
In 1996, Huntington also made several refinements to his concept, which made it even more alloristic. 37.
These works illustrate the assessment of the current state of international relations in terms of the possibilities of transition to a new world order and its maintenance.
38. The views of the Frenchman T. de Montbrial can also be called optimistic. 39.
The desire of the Russian leadership to maintain the status quo on the world stage, which is a challenge to other countries that are interested in change. The commitment to preserve the Union in its current form, while it does not meet modern requirements. The position on the issue of NATO expansion, which ignores the right of political choice of the countries of Central and Eastern Europe. The concept of multipolarity, which does not correspond to the existing international realities. Simply put, the anti-Western policy of Russia is one of the most important obstacles in the formation of the world order.
40. In Western literature is becoming more widespread concept of management. 41.
T. de Montbrial refers to such actors by the term, unites actives, which means any organized group that has resources in the broad sense of the word and is able to set certain goals and strategies and achieve them.
42.
J. Rosner believes that after the Cold War, international politics is characterized by an increase in the level of institutionalization and a sharp increase
43.
in the number of regulatory mechanisms. Young argues that, despite the absence of legal coercive power, the actions of new actors who adhere to formal and informal rules and rely on intergovernmental and non-governmental mechanisms are unpredictable.
44.
The management of international life, thus understood, is an ongoing process. It overcomes international anarchy, but unlike regimes, it never represents a strictly fixed state. Regulation does not come from a set of pre-established rules, but is a set of joint actions formed through exchanges, negotiations, mutual concessions and conflicts.
45.
Thus, the views of modern domestic and foreign authors on the essence and prospects of the New World Order are characterized by inconsistency and diversity of positions.
46.
All this suggests that the transition period in the establishment of the new international order is not over.
The establishment of the world order is only in a new phase. The state of transition affects both the world system as a whole and all categories of countries and is likely to continue for a long time. However, the question is not whether there should be a global world order but what it should be.